He's the man, he's the myth, he's the legend, he's the scientist with all the answers and all the questions. It's time for another episode of Alex's Science Corner.
Oh, thank you. No, please, thank you.
What's going on in the wide, wide world of science, my friend?
All right, first story we got today. I'm going to spend a few seconds talking about what is a planetary disk. The reason is it's going to be part of the news story later on. A protoplanetary disk, when a star system begins to form out of dust and gases in the galaxy, it starts going around in a circle. It starts forming into a plate shape or a circle and starts spinning around. The center of it could form into one or two stars, and they will start orbiting around each other. And the rest of this disk of material will begin to form into planets. Just like how you got dust clumps that start to form up under your bed or something, and they'll start to congeal into larger dust clumps. Well, the material in these
dust bunnies,
and they will start to form into larger and larger clumps. And when you're talking about the size of a star system, they will start to form into planets.
So the disk, when does it become spherical as opposed to?
It is not. It flattens out. It does not become spherical. The protoplanetary disk is the dust and material starts to form.
Okay, but my question was, when does it go from that plate or flat thing to a spherical?
It does not.
It doesn't. Okay.
No. That's the whole reason why when you look at our solar system, all of our planets are in the same plane.
Okay.
So you don't have stuff orbiting in all kinds of different directions because they form out of this disk and they're all orbiting in the same direction. Okay.
Okay, so the things that are forming out of the
will
are
form into
spheres.
Right.
Okay, that's what I was getting confused about.
Just like those dust bunnies form into lumpy kind of sphere shapes, you'll have planets form into spheres because they'll each have their own gravity.
Okay.
But they form out the dust and material of this disk that forms the solar system later on.
Okay, got it.
So the Alma Array in Chile, which is a large telescopic radio telescope site in Chile, astronomers there have discovered an interesting star system. Now remember, I told you about that flat disk where everything forms from. Well, they've discovered a star system that is just beginning to form. The stars have formed, but the disk is still in the process of forming planets. But the stars are not orbiting in the shape of the disks. The two stars, if you were to take a plate and you were to take a quarter or a dollar coin and stick it on edge through the plate, the stars are orbiting up and down through the plate, not in the frame of the plate. Yeah, I know that puzzle look. Exactly. So if you took a plate and you stuck a quarter straight down so it's perpendicular through the plate, the stars are orbiting around that quarter. This is extremely weird. And this is why this is a news story. Astronomers don't know why this is happening at the moment. They've got some theories. They've got some ideas. But the first part of this is really, really cool.
Now, have they observed this phenomenon aside from the way they're orbiting? No. Have they observed this flat plate and planets being formed before?
Yes.
And know that this is the typical. Okay.
Right, because that's the whole purpose of the Alma Array. Its main job is to look for protoplanetary disks, stars in the formation stage when they're just beginning to form up. That's its particular job, is to look for these kind of things. And they know they've seen a lot of these. This is a common process, obviously, in the galaxy. The thing that makes this stick out is that the suns are orbiting each other. The stars in this particular planetary disk are orbiting outside of the plane of that protoplanetary disk. And so they've got this weird formation. Something disturbed it. They don't know what, but it's cool, and they're trying to figure it out. It's like seeing a car accident and seeing one car there, and you don't know if there's like another car that caused the accident or did it hit something else. And so they're trying to figure it out based on like partial information of what happened. Incredibly cool information that they've discovered about this weird star system. Next up, Cassini probe, which was orbiting Saturn. 2 years ago, when it was ending its mission, they decided to have it slam into Saturn so that it didn't contaminate any of the moons of Saturn.
God, it's 2 years already?
Yeah, 2 years since it was sent into Saturn's atmosphere. They collected so much data, they're still going through all of that data. And while they're going through all the data, they've discovered that they seem to have seen the after effects of rainfall on the moon of Titan. This is the first time we've ever seen the effect of rain. They didn't see the rain. What they saw was the puddles that formed after a rainstorm. The way the ground gets wet, when you see rain, the ground changes color because it's reflecting light differently. This is what they're seeing. What they're seeing is in the northern hemisphere, the ground has changed color. It's reflecting sunlight differently. And then they had pictures of Titan before the rainstorm. It was one color. Then pictures right after the rainstorm. And then they took pictures again later on. And that area the color was before.
Can you see these pictures online?
Yes. Yeah, and if you go onto my YouTube channel, you'll get the links.
Which is?
It's Alex Science Corner at YouTube. And I do have the links there too, and they will have links to the pictures up there too.
That is fascinating.
So this is the first time we've seen signs that there's rain on another world other than Earth.
How long would it take us to get from here to that moon?
Several years.
Oh, it does take that long.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it takes several years for any of the probes we sent to get out to Saturn. Okay. I mean, Mars, it takes about between 6 months to 18 months to get to Mars from Earth, depending on when we launch. To go to Jupiter and Saturn takes a few years to get out there. It took several years to go to Pluto, and to do that, we had to launch the spacecraft so fast that it couldn't get into orbit around Pluto. It could only pass by. That's what happened when you were Horizons. Anything that we're going to do in the outer solar system takes years to get there.
Space is big.
Yeah, space is big.
And how big is Titan?
Titan
compared to the
is, I'd have to double check. I think it's a little bit smaller than our moon.
Okay,
I'll have
so
to
it's
double
smaller.
check that.
It's definitely a smaller.
Yeah, but it's still a round object. It's got enough gravity, it's got enough material on it so that it forms into a spherish sort of shape.
Okay.
You know, there's a certain size limit, like asteroids, you'll see they're all lumpy. They don't have enough gravity to pull themselves into a spherical
smooth,
shape.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one of the things is the rain on Titan is methane. So methane on Earth is gas because we've got warm temperatures here. It's so cold on Titan that the rocks are made of water ice, and the liquid is methane. So it's methane rain that's falling on Titan.
So if you want to see the photos, you can go to Alex's Science Corner on his YouTube channel.
We'll be posting in the next 2 or 3 days.
And if you have any questions about these two stories or anything else science-related, you can contact Alex immediately at 203
837
99
24.